we're so close to being able to talk about perfection. Ahoy hoy gang, if this is your first time with us, welcome, and if you're joining us from a previous video, hey, we love to see it, and I hope you're doing well. Yeah, it's Bobmas Part 8, let's give it up for Part 8, the animated special season, and the catering episode, lot of great moments here. So, what worked, what failed, what two-part Christmas shenanigans will be curtailed? It's not too late for us to look at the top 5 episodes of Season 8! Number 5, The Silence of the Louise.
I don't know how I can explain why I love this episode so much. I love teachers being normal, just everyday people, because you don't think about that. You don't think about your teachers being flawed, having issues, not making a ton of money. You always just sort of assume as a kid, that the teachers are always going to be right, or they're paragons or whatever. They're not. They're people. They mess up, and that's fine, Sometimes coffee pods are just really, really, really expensive, and you expect me to teach a class without them? No thank you. And so to have Mr. Frond mutilate his own dolls to just sort of get one over on the kids because they don't have the money is so perfect. It's so on brand, and it reminds me so much of the No Kid Left Behind episode of King of the Hill, where the teachers are just trying to get them through as fast as humanly possible. And then the B story is just Teddy getting into the inspirational poster business, which is such a Bob's Burgers B story. It makes so much sense, and it's so dull compared to, I don't know, Homer becomes the next Dalai Lama, or Peter has to figure out why Ryan Reynolds won't stop leaving him alone, stuff like that. Bob's Burgers, it does take you into weird places, but it never goes ludicrous with it. And I love that The Silence of the Louise is still just at that surface, just right there. Just right there. It's not going to break that. It's not going to break the tension of being too surreal. It's always going to toe that line perfectly. And Millie's great in it. I love this episode so much.
Number 4, The Bleakening.
I enjoy this Christmas episode. I know it's a 2-parter. I'm counting it as one because it's my video. Make another video. Do it. It's great. I really enjoy it. I think the musical numbers are really solid. I don't want to talk too much about it right now, ? But as far as Christmas episodes go, it definitely feels much more lived in and realized. This is a weird out there Christmas idea that doesn't involve Santa coming to kick Bob's ass. They're not bringing a whole army down from the North Pole, or, the elves aren't malnourished and struggling, but they're still able to incorporate weird elements. Linda's tree goes missing. The kids think the Bleakin is ruining Christmas, so they have to go on the hunt for him. Adam Driver is there. Yeah, it's weird, but in a believable way. And that's such an important balance that makes this episode shine so brilliantly. I really kind of love the Bleakening, and it's a great Christmas watch.
Number 3, Brunch Squatch.
This is an episode I debated putting on my top 5, but I'm I always enjoy it. I always enjoy going back through, seeing if I recognize a new segment I didn't see the time before. I like reappreciating how people imagine these scenes and how they map them out, and how you see there's, obviously they were probably all told the same storyboards and what they need to happen in X scenes. But to have a community that's so creative that they are willing to guest animate different parts of an episode is just such a creative way to incorporate the passion of the fans. I really, really love this episode. I love the creativity behind it. And I love that they got, every major recurring character in there. Zach Galifianakis and Kevin Kline are in an episode that celebrates the creativity of the fans. Like, they weren't just phoning it in. This is a perfectly serviceable episode of Bob's Burgers, elevated by the creative animation style. And I love, now granted, I think the Belcher should have a dog. I am team dog, even though I know that would throw off basically everything. It would be fun. It would be a fun idea to see, but just Brunch Squatch is, it hits the eyes right. Again, another bingo board thing right there. I love this episode. It feels so warm and so endearing because it's not animated from a place of cynicism, right? It's animated by people that genuinely care, and that shines through. Number 2, Mission Impossible. I related way too hard to this episode. Now, I'm not saying I sold gasoline trading cards, but I have absolutely fallen for fake cards before. I've fallen for the binders to complete collections. I was a TCG kid. I have done Yu-Gi-Oh!, I've done Magic, I've done Pokemon. So that element to the episode felt very, very real and made me hate Louise that much more. That being said, I love when Tina has to get the cards back, and so she raids the, teacher's party, and she's just dangling off the tree, and she's like, oh, yeah, no, I meant to be here. I meant to do that. I'm just that good, I can totally do that. And then she does. She's able to crawl out of it, and it's like, okay, you know what? I can give this a pass. I really love the A story here. And the B story with the pickle guy just feels so honest. I think that's the word I'm looking for here. It's just so honest and, you know what? Earnest. Earnest works better. Bob really loved this pickle guy. And they just had a little feud before the pickle guy, went Brian's side up. He makes amends. And he gets closure. And it's just out of left field that he gets all of these things. And then you're just sort of like, you know what? Good for Bob. Bob deserves to be happy. And it just, it warms your heart. I don't know. There's a lot about this episode to love and very little to hate. Another bingo board thing, I'm sure. Mission Impossible. Anything with a trading card element, I'm going to be a sucker for. Number 1, something old, something new, something Bob catered for you. I scared my wife watching this episode because I was minding my own business. I wasn't really thinking about it. And then the scene happened where everyone pulls the boxes out from under their chairs. They open it. All the butterflies are dead. And he's like, just throw them up. Just get them in the air. And they get them in the air. And the breeze just takes all these little dots out to sea. And that's all I could think about in this episode. And I remember just laughing so hard. I was crying. I fell on the floor from the couch. I was rolling, just absolutely losing my mind over something that they deliver just so matter-of-factly. Just so completely normal. Like the rest of the episode arguably is fine. The kids want to see how many pictures they can get into, and Linda doesn't think their relationship will work, and Bob is just so over the moon, so excited that he can be a part of somebody's life and actually have a big impact somewhere. That's a really sweet and noble thing for him. That means a ton to him. And, Linda wants to believe in it, but she also doesn't really see how they could possibly know each other well enough to actually have a strong relationship. And I just, from any angle you approach it from, bingo board, it works. It just works. It's, the songs are great. The jokes are so methodically flat, I think is the best way to put it. They are not going for the big, greased up deaf guy scenes where he just runs on and goes, glad to be back, America. Like, you don't do that in Bob's Burgers. You do dead butterflies thrown into the air, cakes getting smashed, and they have to put it back together again. Like, they have crafted something truly special and unique while making it feel every day. You know, to these two people, this is their rest of their lives. This is one of the most magical days of their lives. To literally everyone else, it's like a Saturday. And it finds that perfect marriage of those elements.
Those butterflies never stood a chance. The little tiny corpses just went out to sea. It gets me every single time. It tickles me pink. Anyway, that's my top 5 episodes of season 8. Anything I was right on? Wrong on? What are your top 5 episodes of the season? Bottom 5 episodes? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like what you saw, make sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends we're out here singing. Season 8 was a lot, but I loved it. You could tell there was still a lot of creative energy. You could tell that there was a lot to just genuinely appreciate. They weren't phoning it in at all. And this was the season that you could really feel that, like, the nuance to Bob's Burgers may have faded away. The dark comedy may have faded away. But it had built such a dedicated following at this point that I would be surprised if Bob's Burgers didn't hit 20 seasons. It's just kind of doomed to succeed at this point. Anyway, that's going to do it for us here at the lecture hall. And if you want to support the channel, consider joining our Patreon or membership programs today. $2 a month gets you special polls, posts, and even your name on this fancy list. Yeah. I don't know what that was. That was like a Mike Henneman voice or something. Like always, stay strong. Keep fighting that good fight. Know that I believe in you, and things will be okay. A rising tide lifts all ships, and I can feel one hell of a wave a-coming. I think it's like, what is that? Is that like puddle of mud? It's bad. It's bad. Anyway, goodbye everybody, and I'll see you all next time on the next enchanting part of Merry Bobmas.